So, looks like today we have Dakota and Kaylee and TJ. A couple other people will probably join us soon. What we're going to do today is we're going to go over the second part of that interim test. And then you guys have been kind of working on adding and subtracting unlike fractions. So if we have time, we'll look at that as well. So we'll go to that test first thing. Okay, and it looks like we left off on number 12. Let me scroll a little faster here. And it would be really helpful if you guys are working the problems out with me on your scratch paper or in your notebook at the same time. And then, of course, you can either raise your hand or type your response into the chat as you get an answer. Okay, so for number 12, we had to find the area of the shape below. So what they were showing you was this funky looking shape, a trapezoid basically, but it can be broken up into a rectangle with two triangles sticking off the end. And then I think that would be easier to find the area because the area of a rectangle and then the area of a triangle, those are pretty easy to find individually. And then you would just add them up. So we would just add those two triangles onto whatever the rectangle area is. So give me a second and I will draw this as best I can. Oh, I'm on blue. Oh well, whatever. Blue is fine. Ah, okay. Oh, yeah, let me make that a little bit better. Getting used to the pen again every week. There we go. Okay, so 12 and they broke this up and they said that that was a height of 3 and that would be 8. So really what we need to figure out is how much length this portion and this portion of the triangle take up. So basically, if we know that this rectangle is a length of 8, and up here the entire thing is 12, that means we have 4 left over. So each of these portions have to be worth 2. And let me just see the chat here. Okay, Dakota, why don't you type it into the chat or whatever your question is, or email me. That'll be fine too. Okay, so the area of a rectangle, that's what we're going to find first. I'm just going to mark off this 12 because I think it'll be easier to look at. So we have 2 and 8 and 2. So let's worry about the area of the rectangle. Area of a rectangle is pretty easy. It's just base times height. So the base was 8, and we said that the height is 3. So Kaylee, what's the area of this rectangle? Perfect. Okay, so the area of the rectangle we know is going to be 24. So now we need to find the area of these two little triangles, and we'll add it up to 24. So let's find the area of one triangle. And we know that the formula is 1/2 base times height, or 1/2 times base times height. So if I plug that in, I'm going to have 1/2 times, see, the base is 2. The height of the triangle is 3. So what is the area of one of these triangles? So what's 1/2 of 2? 1/2 of 2 is 1 times 3. So the area of one of these little triangles is 3, but we have 2 of them. So go ahead and add up 3 plus 24 plus 3. And that will be the total for the entire shape. Very nice, Kaylee. Okay, so Kaylee said it was 30 inches squared, so our answer would be A. All right. 13. I'm going to save my voice. Ashley, read 13 for me.
Calculate the area of the circle. Use at what does that say?
Pi.
What?
It's called pi.
Oh, I couldn't see it from my angle. Use pi 3.14.
Okay. So let's go ahead and clear this. We have, oh, that's terrible. Whatever. It's a circle. And we have the radius is 6. So radius is half of the diameter. Diameter is the full length across. But they give us r, the radius of 6. So you need to know the formula for area of a circle. It is pi times r squared, or radius squared. So let's plug it in. They said 3.14 is pi times, what is 6 squared? Or 6 to the second power means 6 times 6. So what is 6 times 6? Go ahead and type 6 times 6. There we go, into the chat. Or 6 squared. Perfect, is 36. So now to figure out the area, I have to do 3.14 times 36. So I would go over here, and I want everyone to do this, and just make it a multiplication problem. Go for it. Ugh. Okay, should be getting a couple answers. Perfect, Ashley. Good job, Kaylee. Okay, hopefully TJ and Dakota been trying to do it. Percent sign, no? Okay, so 3.14 times 36 came out to 113 and 400ths squared. So let's find that answer. Here it is. So there's your area of the circle. Okay. Kaylee, read 14 for me.
Identify which of the following decimals is equivalent to the fraction 1/8.
Okay. So eventually, you're probably going to be able to just recognize certain decimals and fractions and what that equals. But for now, let me show you how to find it if you don't know how to turn a fraction into a decimal. You will make it a division problem. You always put whatever's on top underneath the house. So obviously I can't put an 8 into a 1, so I'm going to have to add a decimal and some zeros. Okay, Now you can actually do the division problem and figure out what the equivalent fraction and decimal format are. So go ahead and work out this division problem for a couple minutes. Perfect, Kaylee. Give everybody else just another second or two. Kaylee, how many groups of 8 fit into 10? 1. You told me the answer. Is your microphone on, Kaylee?
Oh, yeah. Whoops.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, and actually, Ashley, you had the first 2 numbers correct, but you needed to take it out one more decimal place. So I'll just show you. Okay, and then she said 2. And that's where you stopped. You needed to go one step farther because look, if you went one step farther, you would be done. And your answer is 0.125. Does that make sense, Ashley? Okay, so let's go find, here it is. Here's your answer for A. Okay, let me read something in the chat right quick. Okay, I'll deal with that in just a second. That's a different question. I'm not sure what number that is, but okay, looking at number 15, the line plot above shows the inches of rain measured each day. How much total rain was received on the days that had less than 1.5 inches of rain? So really, the only portion of the graph that we're looking at are these 2 days right here, 1 1/4 and 1 1/3. Those are the only 2 that we're worrying about. So it's kind of a multi-step problem, and I'll show you how to work that out. Okay, first thing that we needed to figure out is how many days had 1 1/4 days or inches of rain, and there were 3 days. So we'll find that total. Then there was 1 1/3 inches of rain, and there were 4 days. So we'll find that total. Once we have those 2 different totals, we can add them up, and then we'll have our total amount of rain. Well, if you don't know how to do a problem like this, first thing you need to do is get rid of the mixed numbers and make it all into fractions. It'll be easier to work with. So by doing magic circle time, I'll change this into an improper fraction, and it becomes 5/4 times 3/1. And so then that'll be 15/4. And then we can change it again. How many groups of 4 fit into 15? 3. And that would be 12, right? And so then we would have 3 3/4. So that was the answer for this first problem. I'm going to add this up to whatever I get down here. So let's change this into an improper fraction. So 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. So 4/3 times, and I'll just say 4/1. This is the same thing as saying 4, by the way. That becomes 16/3. How many groups of 3 fit into 16? 5. What's left? Because that's 15. Okay, So now I have to add up those two numbers. Okay, so now maybe I'll just rewrite it. So now I have 3 3/4 plus 5 1/3. I have a little bit of a problem. I'm not working with the same denominator. So I'm going to have to change, when I'm adding, I have to change it. What's a common multiple of both 4 and 3? Go ahead, Kaylee.
12.
Yeah. So let's change it into twelfths. How many groups of 4 fit into 12?
3.
And 3 times 3 is 9.
9.
So that would become 3 and 9/12. I'll change this one. Dakota, how many groups of 3 fit into 12?
4.
And 4 times 1 is just 4. So those are equivalent now. So now I have an easier addition problem. Worry about your whole numbers first. What's 3 plus 5? 8. But then I have 9 plus 4, which is 13/12. What's the problem here? Go ahead, Dakota.
Improper fraction.
Exactly. I have a whole number sitting inside of here. I can take out 12/12. So I'm going to add that whole number to this. That'll become 9. 1 is left over, and so I have 9 and 1/12. So let's see. Oh, here's our answer. B, 9 and 1/12. Give me a thumbs up if that's making sense. It's a multi-step problem, but okay. Okay, pizza. How many total pizzas were eaten by the group of students? So basically I have to go and add 1/4 of a pizza plus 1/2 a pizza plus 1/2 a pizza plus 3/4 of a pizza and so forth. So I'm going to just rewrite it. Okay, here we go. So I have 1/4 of a pizza plus 1/2 of a pizza times 2 kids, because 2 kids ate a half, plus 1 kid ate 3/4 of a pizza, plus 3 kids ate a whole pizza, plus, oops, sorry, that should be a half. 3 kids ate 1.5 pizzas. Wow. So let's figure out what these numbers are in the parentheses first, and then I'll just add it all up. So I'll change my color. So what's 1/2 of 2? Hold up your fingers. What's half of 2? Yeah, 1. So I'll just change that. That's a 1. Okay, so now I have 1.5 times 3. That might be a little more confusing. So let's do magic circle time. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So I have 3/2 times 3/1 equals 9/2. Or what would be the mixed number that 9/2 represents? Go ahead and type it into the chat. Oh, I don't know where my control panel went. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Here we go. 4.5. That's right. Okay. So now I'm going to be adding, I'll just rewrite it, 1/4 plus 1 plus 3/4 plus 3 plus 4.5. All right. So not too hard. I'm going to look for something called complementary fractions, something that would be easy to add up right away. I know that 1/4 and 3/4, that's going to give me 1 whole. So I'm just going to add those up right away. So I have 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 4.5. This portion's pretty easy. So what's 1 plus 1 plus 3? Yeah, 5. So now I have 5 plus 4.5. That just equals a simple 9.5. So let's go find that answer. 9.5 pizzas. Okay. All right, moving on. All right. So we had 26 graders. Sorry. Who were asked how many times they went snowboarding. And then here's the data. I think making a line plot is easiest. I'll show you how I did this. All right, so let's have to find my data again. Okay, so there was 1, 2, 3, 4 times snowboarding, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, 10, and 11. Okay, how many kids went one time? Looked like there were 4. So I'm going to put an X to represent each kid. 2 kids went twice. 3 kids went 4 times. 1 kid went 4 times. 1 kid went 5 times. 7, 8, and 11. Okay, so that is my line plot. First thing they want to know is the mean. Mean equals average. To find the average, you're going to add up all of these numbers and divide by the total number of kids. So we know the total number of kids was 20. I have to add up all of these values. So I'm going to do 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So I could actually make it maybe even a little simpler because you guys are good at multiplication. What's 4 times 1? 4. Okay, you could probably do this in your head. Plus 2 plus 2. And then, so then let's see, we have 3 kiddos who went 4 times. I'm sorry, we have 4 kiddos who went 3 times. So I could just continue. And then just add your 1 kiddo who went 4 times. Go ahead and add up this whole long string of numbers. And when you get your total, type it into the chat. Cool. We're adding up the total, and then we're going to divide it by the total number of kids, which was 20 kids. Okay, so we got 55. So now I'm going to do 55 divided by 20. Go ahead and work that problem out. If you have to rewrite it, 55 goes under the house, 20 goes outside. You will get a decimal. I'll just start you off. Gonna start erasing a couple things. Perfect, Dakota. Okay, I'm just gonna wait one more second for, okay. Check your decimal place, Ashley. Should be 2.75. Okay, so 2.75. That is our average. So on average, kids went about 2.75 times. And that should make sense because most kids went around 1 to 3 times. So 2.75 definitely makes sense. Okay, now to find the median, it's really simple with a line plot. Because to find the median, all you have to do is mark off the highest, then the lowest. Highest, lowest. And you're going to end up in the center. Highest, lowest. Highest, lowest. Highest, lowest. Highest, lowest. And we end up with a median of 3. Okay. Last but not least, they wanted to know the mode. Mode is the number or numbers that showed up the most times. So what 2 numbers showed up the most? There's 2 modes. 1 and 3. Perfect. Those 2 showed up the most. Give me a thumbs up if that made sense. All right, cool. Oh, I'm not feeling well today, but you guys are being fabulous. All right. Ay. Haley, read 18 for me.
Alex is a TV repair person who charges $50 for a service call plus $20 an hour. If the repair cost $100, how long did Alex work?
Okay, well, I'm just going to take everything that they told us and make an equation. He gets $50 no matter what. Then he gets $20 times however many hours he works. They told us that he got $100. So now what we're going to have to figure out is H. Couple different ways you can try this. You can guess and check. You can sit here and start plugging in like, oh, let's see how much he'd make if he got 1 hour and see if it equals 100. Let's plug in 2 hours and see if it equals 100. And you can go like that. Or can somebody tell me what inverse means? Inverse means the opposite operation. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. The inverse of multiplication is division. So it's the opposite. So you can solve algebraic equations by using the inverse operations. So what I'm going to do is this is a positive 50, right? So I'm going to get rid of it by doing the inverse of subtracting it. What I do to one side, I always do to the other. Okay, this goes away. And I am left with 20H equals $50. Ashley, what is the inverse operation of multiplication?
Division.
Division. And this is multiplication when they're next to each other. So to get rid of it, divide by 20. Divide by 20. And guess what? 20 divided by 20, well, it goes away. It just becomes 1. So H equals whatever $50 is divided by 20. So you could probably do it in your head, but if you can't, come over here and do this division problem. Go for it. Perfect, Ashley. So H equals 2.5 hours. So let's go find. Oh, well, that wasn't a choice. So basically, you just had to write it down 2.5 hours. Did somebody solve it in a different way? Did you do guess and check or anything else? Ashley?
What I did was I took the $100, and since he automatically gets $50, I did 100 minus 50,
Yeah.
and then I had 50 left. Then I had to do the $20. Then I had to do 50 minus 20, which was 30. Then I had to do 30 minus 20, which was 10. And since if he gets $20 per hour, and if he has $10 left, then that means he worked for half an hour.
That's right. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways you can think through this problem, and that was perfect. I showed you kind of a new strategy that you might use in the future called solving algebraic equations using the inverse operation. Okay, moving on. Okay, this one's pretty simple. We just had to find the area of a rectangle. So you need to know that the formula for area of a rectangle is just base times height. Come on, there we go. So they told us the base was 5.5 and the height was 3.5. So all you had to do was just multiply them together. Go ahead and do that now. Sorry, that's me blowing my nose. Are you sure, Dakota? I'm going to start working out the problem and you just kind of watch. Okay. Okay, so your basic multiplication problem, you should have come up with the answer 19.25. So if you notice, I did it for you right here. 5 times 5 is 25, carry my 2. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 2 is 27. Add a placeholder. 3 times 5 is 15, carry my 1. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Add it all up. 19.25, and I know that there are 2 digits after the decimal because there are 2 digits after the decimals in my problem. Okay, so that's what you would have drawn, and the area is 19.25. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay, hopefully we just made a little mistake in our multiplication. Oh gosh, this one's going to take some effort. Ashley, read the problem for us.
Nicole started with $13 in her savings. She plans on adding $6 per week to her savings. Use an equation, table, and graph to demonstrate the relationship between the numbers of weeks that pass and the amount in her savings account. Identify the dependent and independent variable. What week will Nicole have more than $50 in her savings account?
Okay. All right. So let's go over here. I'm going to draw all kinds of pictures for you. It's going to be crazy. You ready for this? Start with basic black. I'm not very good at drawing neat tables, but I'm going to try. Okay. All right, so this is the week. And then we're gonna figure out our little equation here in a second. So I'm just gonna label the weeks. Week 1, 2, 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, and then eventually up to week 7. Come over here, I have to draw a graph as well. My dependent variable is my money in savings. So that's gonna go on the bottom. So how much money she has. The weeks is the independent variable, so that's going to go on the side. It's independent because it changes depending on what week it is. So her first week, she has, let's see, she has $13 plus 6. I got to reread that problem. Was it 6 or?
6.
Yeah, add $6. Okay, great. So she has $13, so it's basically $13 and then she ends up with 19. I think I can say 6x plus the 13 will give me, we could just call weeks y. So y. If I plug in a 1 here for week 1, oh, sorry, this is y. Oops. If I plug in a 1 for week 1, 6 times 1 is 6, plus 13 equals 19. Yes, that works. Let's plug in a 2 for week 2. How much money does she have in week 2? 6 times 2 is 12. 12 plus 13 is... There we go. Good. 25. Perfect. So you can do all kinds of things. You could just keep adding $6 each time, and it's actually pretty simple to do it that way. But it asked you for an equation, so that's where that 6x plus 13 comes from. Because guess what, guys? I can figure out any week with this equation. I can figure out how much money she would have in week number 150 if she saved for 150 weeks. And it would still work. That's why you had to find an actual equation. Okay, so if we go down the line, it looks like that by week 7, she's going to have more than $50 in her savings account. So really, you could have come over here and just drawn your little picture. Week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, week 7. And then let's go by maybe, actually, since it's odd numbers, we're going to have to just do $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, and all the way out. And then you would just put your dots as needed and draw your line. Okay, thumbs up if that made sense. This was the part that I really wanted you to get, was that drawing or writing an equation like this will let you solve for any week. Okay, so, all right, was that it? No. Kaylee, read 21.
My screen is frozen.
Oh. Dakota, read 21.
Joanne spent $53.85 on 3 pairs of shoes at the store. If each pair of shoes costs the same amount, write an algebraic equation that represents this situation and solve to determine how much one pair of shoes cost.
Perfect. Okay, so it sounds a lot harder than it is. It's a division problem. She spent $53.85 total, divided by 3 pairs of shoes. There's your algebraic equation. Now you actually have to find the answer. So, $53.85 under the house. Go for it. How much was each pair of shoes? Oh, you're a good kitty cat. Meow, 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 meow. Oh, you're a furry kitty. Little cuddle cap. Sorry, I'm talking to my cat at the same time. He's being affectionate. And that is correct. $17.85. Yay! So there's your algebraic equation and the answer. Pretty simple. Okay, that was it for your test. And then in your class, you've been working on subtracting unlike fractions. So something like 3/4 minus 1/8. So unlike fractions, they do not have the same denominator. So what we're going to need to do is find a common denominator. And guess what? We can use 8 because 4 will go into 8. So we can keep 8 the same. Dakota, how many groups of 4 fit into 8?
2.
Yeah, and 2 times 3 is 6. So then my answer becomes 5/8. Give me a thumbs up if this is super simple for you. Okay, and you guys have been doing pretty well in your class. So if you have any more specific questions about what you're doing in adding and subtracting unlike fractions, you can email them to me. For now, I'm going to try to save what's left of my throat, which isn't much, and let you go. And Dakota, if you want to email me that question from your sister's homework, I will certainly help with that. But you guys were great today. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you Monday, okay? All right. Bye, guys. Bye.